Right.
The last question of the night comes from Brian in Mentor. So he lives in Mentor, Ohio, but he's going to be telling us about some rental properties that he has here in Metro Detroit. So Brian says, I hired a management company to look after my properties as I live out of state. The rental units that I have are in Metro Detroit. I have not received any of my money from the agent for the company. All I get are construction bills for repair work on the property. I have tenants in the units, but I haven't received any money in over 8 months. The property manager never calls me back and never acknowledges if rent was collected. Can I fire them? Brian in Ohio.
Oh, Brian. Well, again, here we go. It's just the hazard of the job. I have to see, the first thing I have to do is get a copy of your property management agreement, okay, to see what's required. It's in the past, since 2014, it's very common that, there are quite a few people that have opened up property management companies. Usually they're realtors. In order to own a property management company, you actually have to be a licensed real estate broker. Okay. But that doesn't mean that you have to have any experience managing properties. Okay. And as a real estate investor, I mean, I've been doing it for years. Managing a property for yourself is already a lot of work. So when you have to do it for a third party, as an investment, you're representing investors on managing their properties, and that's your main business. If you're holding yourself out to the public to say, hey, I do this, well, you better do a good job.
Yep.
And property managers are fiduciaries. They collect money on behalf of usually their property owner, in exchange for like a commission or a part of the real rental fee or whatever it is that the parties agreed to. So with regards to the property management agreement, we definitely need to see what are the enumerated duties that this property manager has agreed to do. That's number one. Number two, I heard, I see this, and unfortunately we do sue, we're attorneys, so we do litigate. And in any given year, probably for the past 5 years, we probably have at least 50 lawsuits going, or cases where we've opened to approach property management companies about doing their due diligence and taking care of our clients who are real estate investors. Okay. So if the property manager is collecting payments on behalf of his client, which is the owner of the property, he has to provide an accounting at least every month to the property owner. Whether or not he collects rent or not, he should notify them. So the minute you have a property manager, this is just good business. This has nothing to do with being an attorney. If you have somebody who's not returning your calls and is avoiding you, and it's not giving you the money, or at least at the very least giving you an accounting as to what's going on with your property, guess what, Blair? It's time to get a new property manager.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, I really would like to see the agreement, because see, a lot of property managers are also in the contractor business. And I know, at risk of sounding it's cynical, I mean, there are going to be realtors and brokers out there who are listening to me. There's, like everything else, there are great property management companies. And if anybody needs a couple names, I have several. I never just give one, I'll give you three names.
Right. But we're not going to hear about the great ones.
Right. We only hear about the bad one.
Very well, you only hear, we're only going to hear about the bad ones. Right.
Right. And the thing is that they're usually in the business, and I hate to say it because I deal with a lot of European investors, people from South Africa, all over the country, all over the world. And the further away people seem to be, the more screwed they get by their property management company.
Right.
So unless you have somebody who's really on top of things, and I used to be a loan servicing attorney for many years, default loan servicing. That means we monitor and collect and deal with REO issues, everything. I've been doing it for years. I can tell you that homes do need repair. Homes do need maintenance. That's fine. The property manager charges a fee. Usually it's a certain percentage. But you better ask, if you're watching this and you're about to go get a property management company, find out, does that property management company own a construction company, or is their brother a contractor?
Yeah.
Because that's their feeder business. They're not in the business of collecting monthly rental and making 10% of the rental fee. They're in the business of, charging you money for construction. So before you do anything, know what the condition of your property is. Even if you're out of state, I have a blog article. Actually, it was in like over 250 publications several years ago. It's called "Why the Hell Would You Buy Property Over the Phone?" Okay, it's exactly what it is. People were buying property over the phone. They never saw it. They never visited it. And then one day some guy called me. I go, "Did you know this this home doesn't even sit on the lot that you bought?" And he says, "Well, I
Wow.
bought it over the phone." I said, "Did you ever look at a photo?" Nope. So you got to do your due diligence. If you're investing money in any property, whether it be 10,000, 20, 30, whatever it is, you have to inspect the property, or you better have somebody you can trust. And any Tom, Dick, and Harry, or Jane, or Jenny on the phone who you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, even if they're licensed realtors or contractors, you don't know what you're getting.
Was
I
that
feel
really
badly
the
for that person because I
article?
know where that's headed. I know where that's headed. That's not going to be a good scenario. I'd like to know how much money they put in with the management company. But get an accounting. What we usually do, Blair, on those is we do more than just send a little letter.
Yeah.
There are attorneys that send a letter. They think that's going to help. We actually, if there's something there, we'll dig a little deeper. We'll send a letter and we'll actually prepare the complaint. You've heard me say this before. We actually prepare a draft complaint
Mm-hmm.
that requires an answer to we want an answer to the letter within so many days, according to whatever our client sets. And we've already committed to proceed forward with a lawsuit if we don't get that answer. So that's how we operate.
Yeah.
I can keep going, so I'm not going to. I apologize. But if anybody has a question regarding property management companies, again, there's some really great people out there. I'm happy to give you some names. We're in a network that Blair will talk about as well, I'm sure. And there are there's so many good people. But when you get a bad one, it ruins everything, and I can give you stories. So that's what I have. That's where I'm going to stop.